Luis Arce Catacora could easily be compared to Lenin Moreno of Ecuador. First, we must recognize that Luis Arce owes his candidacy to Evo Morales, and also recognize that after the November 2019 COP in Bolivia, a strategy was articulated for the MAS-IPSP to once again take power democratically, knowing that the binomial presented was going to be only for one management and an emergency situation. It was assumed that after one administration the binomial would return the leadership of the process of change to the original indigenous peasant historical subject personified by Evo Morales. So the real hunger for power does not come from Evo. It comes from Luis Arce Catacora, and particularly David Choquehuanca, who since 2016, ever before that, was already working to replace Evo Morales behind his back. But Choquehuanca is the same as Jaco Perez, the expression of a right-wing Pachamamins linked to transnational and oligarchic interests. So as the mandate of the duo Lucho and David were running out, they were creating alliances with Manfred Reyes Villa, for example, annulling more than 13 judicial proceedings against them, or articulating joint strategies with Eva Copa from the Hayaya political party, or with Johnny Fernandez from UCS, whoever offered his acronym to Luis Arce Catacora, and with other political actors whose only vision for the 2025 election is anyone but Evo. Ultimately, it is the construction of a racist, classist, and exclusionary political project that tries to appropriate the entire construction of original indigenous peasants. Evo Morales is not only a national leader, he is a Latin American leader recognized throughout the world. There are different surveys managed by different political interests. Talking about surveys is also talking about political intentions to favor some and harm others. At least in Bolivia, that has always been the nature of the surveys and the different survey companies. Evo Morales easily attracts 40% of the national vote. The increase in this percentage may vary greatly depending on your electoral partner and especially your contenders in the other political parties. To date, there is no politician of the stature of Evo Morales in Bolivia. Luis Arce Catacora was an employee of neoliberal governments for 38 years. His entire political, technical, and thought construction in every area of his life belongs to a neoliberal scheme of thought. Their support lies in a certain social class that is still racist and discriminatory, embedded within the mass. People who still believe that an indigenous person cannot govern, people who believe that because of their education or having studied abroad they are better and deserve to direct the destiny of the country. There is no difference between the current government of Luis Arce and any other neoliberal government of the past. Some of its characteristics are adoption of all neoliberal policies as government policies, repression by the state of social organizations that founded the MAS, repression in their congresses, police intervention in their headquarters, permissiveness and protections of drug trafficking, naturalization of corruption, stout family clans, transnational companies, private companies, ministers of state, leaders of organizations parallel and related to the government, acceptance of their imposition of the agenda of private businessmen, the agenda that private businessmen could not impose on Evo in 14 years is accepted to Luis Arce in one morning. Destruction of economic and financial sovereignty, problems with fuel supply, self-generated problem with dollars, lack of economic flow and movement in everyday life, offering our lithium to the North America and British markets. Reactivation of the Chimoré military base as a form of threat to the peasants' coca growing movement. Imposition of a judicial dictatorship with the support of the self-extension of judicial authorities. We must talk about the left, not a single left. The MAS itself is a conglomerate of different subversive ideologies such as Indianism, Catharism, Marxism, Socialism, Indigenism, Communism, all conglomerated in a project of national dignity and community socialism itself, whose guiding subject is the original indigenous peasant. These attempts to be displaced or rated, appropriated by supposed intellectuals, self-appointed academics of a left that is racist, discriminatory, and colonial. That is why the attacks against Evo, those attacks are basically attacks of hatred and discrimination against the peasant, against the indigenous. And unfortunately, we think the mass, this colonial mentality still exists. As Luis Arce and Evo Morales distanced themselves, the government began to lend more and more credits. To date, there is a total of $3,086,895 and €223,500,000.